So,
sorry.
Already?
Oh yeah. Are we? Oh, we're starting.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So, first of all, tell me about the meeting at the university, Emory.
yeah, so the three of us met when we were freshmen in college at a school in Atlanta called Emory. I guess we actually met when we were sophomores, and we just started singing together sort of right away. We entered a song into a school-wide like a songwriting competition. We ended up winning that, and that was sort of the first Shadowboxers song. So from there we played like every school event, and a lot of parties and a lot of covers and things like that. And after about a year or so, we started playing out in the Atlanta music scene. So that was sort of how we started.
The power of YouTube covers.
I mean, the reason we started the YouTube cover series was because we wanted to reach, at that point we had established ourselves in Atlanta, but we couldn't figure out a way to sort of build outside of the city. And so we knew that that was a way to build not just a national platform, but a global platform. And so we did what a lot of people before us had done, which was start doing covers consistently on like a schedule, but we did it our way. And we were hoping to build a larger fan base, and we did.
It's a great way to connect with people. And,
yeah, people use YouTube now you can access anybody, and people are using it a lot more than we use it. We got lucky and were able to connect with Justin via our YouTube cover. But we never intended to reach that far. I mean, surely we would have. We love that it happened, but we were just trying to find a way to access our fans without putting a budget together that we didn't have to go into the studio and record more music. We were just sitting around and saying, let's just find a way to get something to people so they can hear it, and YouTube was the best platform to do it. Of course, the worst thing about YouTube is also there's so much of people now trying to reach people. So it's kind of, it's slightly mixed in the sense that it's hard to sift through all of the content. But at the end of the day, three guys that are sitting in their bedroom can reach Justin Timberlake, and that was, the best part of that platform.
and you guys met in Atlanta, so do you have some top Atlanta influences on your music? Or are you more influenced by other artists from different parts of the world? Or
Well, we sort of, when I first moved to Atlanta, I knew that was where John Mayer had gotten his start.
Yeah.
At a venue there called Eddie's Attic, which is this tiny little hole-in-the-wall place. It's really a famous listening room. So he was a big influence that came out of Atlanta. Also, like a lot of the hip-hop scene, especially in like the 90s, like we all love like Outkast and Goody Mob. Yeah, all of it. It was hard in Atlanta. Like we never really felt like we could tap into the hip-hop scene because we're who we are. But we love that music, and it continues to be an influence on our writing and our production and everything.
We've always seen ourselves, though, as being from Atlanta, but not strictly molded by the Atlanta music scene. I mean, Matt's from New York, I'm from Nashville. Adam's from Iowa, not that there's like an identifiable music culture there, but we've all been influenced by so many different kinds of music that
Korn is from Iowa.
yeah. Like the band or just actual?
ICP
No, it's the
too,
band.
right?
The
Insane
band.
Clown Posse?
They're probably from Iowa.
Point being, we have a lot of influences outside of just Atlanta, the Atlanta culture. When we got to Atlanta, though, I mean, it was a big reason why he actually went to Atlanta was because of that John Mayer connection. So it's both. I wouldn't say it's strictly an Atlanta music DNA that runs through this band, but if someone thinks that, that would be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the importance of paying your dues, like, before getting your big break?
Great question.
I mean, obviously being comfortable is extremely important. You know, you see a lot of these artists who get a really big hit song and then they don't know how that is supposed to translate live simply because they don't have the experience.
Yeah.
It's just like in any job. I mean, you need to be prepared for doing something at a higher level. And the best way to prepare yourself is simply by doing it a lot at a much lower level. And all of the hours and countless, concerts that we played before we started doing these arena dates, if we hadn't have done all of that legwork, we would have been in a lot worse shape coming into these shows.
I think the fact that we're here right now talking to you on our, 45th show with Justin Timberlake is proof that putting in the legwork matters, because he would not have taken us on this tour if he didn't think we were ready.
Yeah.
And one of the first things he ever said when we met him was like, all right, now we need to work on the writing, we need to work on the sound, we need to get in the studio and start making some hits. But I don't have to worry about you guys playing live, because you already know how to do it. Like we've done it so long, and we played so many shows before we ever got in the studio, which is, I think, becoming more and more rare.
How much patience does it take to reach your goal?
It's a big question.
I think it takes patience. It takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of belief. If you believe that what you're doing has value, and that people should hear it, and people should hear it for the right reasons, because you think that it would enrich people's lives to hear the product that you're putting out there, and not just for the sole purpose of achieving fame or notoriety, then I think that's the only way to pursue this. Put in the years and come out successful at the end.
Then
And
you
I
have
think-
longevity as well when you take that approach.
I mean, to lump the last two questions that you asked together, it's important to pay your dues and to have patience, because there have been a lot of people over the course of our existence that have passed us in terms of fame or Instagram followers or whatever metric that a lot of record labels use to judge instant success. But we've been kind of playing the tortoise and the hare game for a long time, and sure, there have been moments where we would have liked to have leapfrogged a lot of these people, but we really do believe that what we're doing has a lot more weight to it and importance than some of the sort of songs or moments or artists of the day, of the moment. And when this really breaks, we've built it to last. We've taken a lot of time to build the structure and to be really precise about the way we've constructed this band. So I don't think it will topple in the way that we've seen a lot of the people that have passed us along the way have sort of dipped and dove out of the sort of pop culture, spectrum. They're the kind of flash in the pan type artists.
Yeah, hot for a moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think about, this is a sort of an interesting reference for this because it's unrelated to music. But I remember when in the movie Whiplash, J.K. Simmons, the actor, won Best Supporting Actor. He was like 50, 60, however old he was. But I heard in an interview that he didn't have his big break until he was in his 50s. And
we're hoping that happens to us.
You think about an actor like that, you think maybe he started when he was, 5, 7 years before, but he had been going since he was a teenager or something like that. And it's just, sometimes you have to take a longer time.
We talked a bit about YouTube before, and I wanted to ask, how has streaming changed the way that music is consumed?
Completely and utterly changed it forever. It's taken music into a place where being it's taken, I think, active listening almost not 100% out of the equation, but it's made being a passive listener even easier than it was when you could just turn on the radio and have a DJ pick something for you, or put on Pandora and have the Music Genome Project pick a song for you. Now, streaming, you have access to every song ever. You don't have to commit $15 to an album that you're going to listen to. And so because there's so much more out there, it's made it a lot harder for, I think, songs to sort of stay relevant, but it's also made it easier for artists to put out more music frequently. So there's pros and cons, and I don't know if there's more pros than there are cons, but it's changed things.
I think one of the things we like about it is the ability to just consistently release music in whatever format you want with little to no budget.
What's the biggest lesson you guys have learned while on tour?
How to properly pack a suitcase.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can't pack a suitcase like you're going to a hotel and taking everything out and putting it in drawers, because that's not happening.
No.
You have to pack that suitcase like it's a mobile closet. So it's a lot more rolling. It's a lot more folding horizontally instead of
That's
stacking
to
vertically.
be determined later. Some people do that, some people don't. There are more than one ways to do it. But you have to, the way they put this stage together,
Yeah.
it's 27 trucks that put everything in this. And they put it in the morning and they break it down at night and they take it to the next city and do it again. That's the way you gotta think about your clothes.
Then I just have one more for you guys.
One more question, one more answer to that question.
Oh.
That's more serious is,
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to get out and see the cities that we're in, because
Yeah.
these arenas all look pretty similar from the inside,
Yeah.
and it's easy to sort of get bogged down by the routines of the tour. But we're pretty good about getting outside, seeing the city. That's the only way that you can make it significant and feel like you're in a new place, which kind of resets the mind.
What's the best thing about coming to Europe?
The fact that we've never been,
Yeah.
and this is a really cool way to do our first Europe trip. Is on the road with Justin Timberlake in front of 18,000 people every night.
Yeah, exactly. It's one thing to tour and sort of grassroots in the United States as we have over so many years, sort of watching audiences grow. It's a whole other thing to immediately be put in front of these large crowds in Europe
Yeah.
and start winning fans over this way.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Just to add, I think the best part about touring Europe has been the fans and the
Yeah.
audiences. Like, there's a different energy here, and I'm not sure, but every night people seem so receptive to hearing something brand new, which isn't always the case in the States.
Okay,
It's
more
been-
closed.
Yeah, like people want to come and
People
have
like
a good
what they
time
like.
and want to, dance, and they're open to hearing something they've never heard before,
Mhm.
which is really, really cool for us, especially being the opening act.
We've never played in Denmark before. I've never been here. I've never been to Copenhagen. We're playing 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, exactly.